The Spartan Fire experienced some limited growth overnight. Fire lines that were constructed or tied into existing roads held. So that's really keeping the fire to the north of Clockham Road and west of Alcoa Highway there. Currently, firefighters are continuing to engage the fire where it's safe to do so. However, they are, again, seeing active fire behavior with some increased winds and the sun warming up those grasses that are available to burn.
So as we get into today, where are we on containment? Last we heard was about 10%, and what's the plan of attack for today?
So we're still looking at about 10%, both on the Spartan Fire and the Sutherland Canyon fires, mostly due to the fact that we are still assessing and gathering intel as far as size and spread and mapping, relying on air resources quite heavily to do that for us. So those folks are working with the new incident management team that arrived this morning to design those action plans, to engage the fire where it's safe to do so, and to continue point protection around any structures or homes that might be threatened in those areas.
Speaking of structures, have we had any losses in that regard? And also give us an update, if you could, on evacuations.
So evacuations have not changed since yesterday. We're still looking at Level 2 evacuations from the Chelan County Sheriff on the Spartan Fire, and Level 1 evacuations, that lowest level of evacuation on the Southland Canyon fires from the Douglas County Sheriff. So continuing to work with those. And I'm sorry, what was the second part of your question?
In reference to any structure loss or anything like that.
There have been no reports of any structures lost or damaged at this point in time. We are continuing to assess, any grazing fences or anything else that might have been singed as the fire moved through the area. But we have not had any reports of structures damaged or lost.
We were hearing some social media comments last night. It's just as far as especially in reference to the Canyon Fire, the Sutherland Canyon Fire, as far as cattle and livestock that were needing to be moved. Do you have any word on that, and if there's any place that's been set up for people to go if they do have livestock?
We're currently working with our crop raiders. The American Red Cross, for example, is on standby, and we will certainly, as a team, work to activate those resources as we need to. Those reports have not yet come into the incident management team, but we are preparing for those, knowing that these fires might continue to grow and spread over the next couple days.
Can you describe the challenges for the crews that are actually, physically working this fire as far as terrain, environment, heat, bees, snakes, that type of thing? Anything else that they're facing?
So there's lots of hazards out there commonly associated with wildland firefighting. We are looking at some elevated temperatures today, upper 80s, low 90s. So being very cautious about heat stroke, heat exhaustion, fatigue, those type of issues. In addition, this is wildland areas, so there's definitely rugged terrain out there, some canyon areas that we're currently not placing resources into because it's simply not safe to do so. And then there are some of the other environmental hazards out there, like rattlesnakes and other things that we're just continuing to have our situational awareness high and be prepared medically should something arise in regards to that.
Can you describe for our viewers, when you say incident command coming in and state mobilization, what that means? Because the initial folks that were working the fire were Chelan Douglas County resources. I know that there were some other resources that came in from the vicinity here, but what does that mean when you get state mobilization?
So essentially, state mobilization and having an incident management team comes in brings additional resources and organizational support to the boots out there on the ground. So anytime you mobilize 200-300 firefighters in any given location, you're thinking about the food that it takes to feed those folks. Where are they going to sleep? What are they going to eat? How are we going to take care of them? The maps and the plans that we need to produce so that we can develop effective strategies. All of those plans and logistics take resources, and that's really what the team will come in to do. State mobilization also helps by mobilizing resources from across the state of Washington beyond what any local area would be able to support